So, guess who woke up this morning, had a stretch and said, "Today I'm going to infringe on someone's copyright"? No one, because that's not what we're about, any of us. We seek out art forms that reflect something within us. When we stumble upon it, we feel inspired and induced by life. And maybe we want to share it with others so they can feel the same, and also see us a little bit better, because that's what we're about, to see and be seen. But really, there is something we must talk about: copyright, right? The copyright law says, when someone creates something that benefits humankind, they get the right to decide over their creation for a certain amount of time. Seems fair, right? This enables them to create more work for the benefit of all of us. We both want and need that because creativity is our common engine as human beings. So what this means for you is that you must extend your appreciation of the artwork to active respect for the artist. You must be copyright. Be what? Be copyright. But how does one go about being copyright when copyright law seems so incomprehensible, and on top of that, the internet overflows with temptations? You focus on what to do instead of what not to do. Let's get to it. We'll begin with a couple of facts about copyright law. These facts will show you how to operate successfully on Jiggity within the boundaries of the copyright law. The first thing to understand is that although copyright laws may differ from country to country, copyright is generally protected on a global scale through international conventions. The second thing is that as a general rule, a copyright owner can take legal action in the country where the infringement takes place. This means you best get acquainted with some general content sharing virtues. These virtues will carve out paths for you to stick by when you share images on Jiggity that are not your own. Sound good? All right, here they come. The first virtue is, know that you're responsible for what you share. Who is? You are. Not the others who also share work on the internet. Not the ones who uploaded what you decide to share. Not the platform on which you share the work. You are responsible for what you share on the internet and elsewhere. The second virtue is this: to be copyright is an activity. Even when you see that others have shared the same image you are looking to share, it doesn't mean that you have permission to share the image. Fact is that every man-made thing most likely is owned by someone. It may be someone private, a company, or the public. First, you have to find out who, and that entails some detective work. The third virtue goes like this: not knowing means no sharing. Yup, not knowing will not suffice. You can only use material you positively know you have permission to use. Okay, so now that we've got the three virtues down, we have, haven't we? We can move on to the good stuff. Tips on how to be copyright on Jiggity. We've got altogether 4 tips for you, and we'll start with permission via the public domain. If you find work within the so-called public domain, you have permission to share it without any further ado. But what is the public domain? In this context, the term public domain refers to creative materials that are not protected by copyright. You could say that the public owns these works, not an individual artist. Not every country has the exact term public domain incorporated in its copyright law, but the principle that some material is part of the public domain is a general concept we can steer by. So, where do you find work in the public domain? Is there a global database or something? No, not as such. But there are websites that present creative work they claim are part of the public domain. You can also try taking it from the top, so to speak, and write "Find art in the public domain" in the Google search box. A truly joyous treasure hunt awaits you. But bear in mind what we established earlier. Being copyright is an activity. So make sure to double-check that the image you choose is in fact in the public domain and not protected by any intellectual property rights. All right, onwards to copyright tip number 2. Permission via custom licenses. Where the public domain is an either-or category, either it is in the public domain or it isn't, the category for custom licenses is more like a spectrum of permission where artists make their work available under certain conditions. Typically, these conditions involve giving credit to the artist, whether or not a payment is required, and in which context you're allowed to share the image. As these requirements may differ, you must always make sure that you can comply with their conditions before you share the image on Jiggity. Where can you find collections of images under some sort of custom license, you ask? Some websites offer extensive collections of custom licensed work from different artists. And it really is a great pleasure searching around on such websites. So, that was it for the public domain and custom licenses. But wait, what if you have your heart set on an image that is neither available in the public domain or under a custom license? Then you must find out who owns it and ask for permission from the owner. The first thing to consider is which permission you need to publish the image on Jiggity. And from there, you put on your detective hat, yes, the one from before, and go searching for the creator of the work to ask for 2 things. If he or she has the copyrights to the image, and if so, whether they will grant you permission to publish the image as a Jiggity puzzle on jiggity.com. Now, onwards to the last copyright tip we'll highlight in this video. Create your own images. Yes, this is an obvious one, but really, have you considered that you could create something for the world to see? I can tell you right now, as a representative of the world, that the world would love to see it. Any photo that reflects your day, your thoughts, or your sense of humor maybe. Another creative path you can consider is to make your own art by some of the fantastic tools for digital art you can find online. Such a combination of both doing puzzles and indulging in creative production yourself is just straight up brain fitness. Add to this the positive social interaction that follows when your fellow puzzlers respond to your puzzles on Jiggity. That combination is the equivalent of heavy weightlifting for your brain. All right, so this was our short list of tips on how you can be copyright on Jiggity. We do hope it will be useful to you. But before we go, let's pay our well-rested friend from this morning another visit. Guess who woke up thinking, today I'm going to look for what fills me with excitement and connect with others who may feel the same. I did. You did. We all did. And we do so every day. We seek to make an impression and to connect with one another through creativity. And thankfully, as a modern society, we have the means to support creativity and creative work. And one of them is the regulations under copyright law. So, go be copyright on Jiggity and everywhere else.